Instead of focusing on the success story, in this video, we dive deep into the business failures. Join us as we dissect what went wrong, from bad decisions to market shift and things like that. How the startup that crashed and burned. We will probably cover the real life scenario. This isn't about shaming; it's about learning. We will discover the most common mistake the entrepreneurs make and how you can avoid them. We will also explore why good ideas fail, warning signs of failing business, and painful lessons learned the hard way. Welcome everyone to the anatomy of a failure. In a world constantly celebrating the success stories, we often miss the crucial lessons hidden within the narratives of the business that didn't quite make it. We are bombarded with images, triumphant CEOs, skyrocketing profits, but the reality of the entrepreneurship and the innovation is often paved with setbacks, missteps, and yes, outright failures. This isn't how the show about pointing fingers or revealing any misfortune. Instead, we believe that some of the most valuable insight for inspiring entrepreneurs, seasoned business leaders, and even those simply curious about how the world works lie in understanding why things go wrong. By dissecting the anatomy of the failure, examining its individual components, identifying the underlying causes, and understanding the chain of events, we can extract valuable lessons and hopefully avoid similar pitfalls in our own ventures. Over the next few minutes, we will delve into the common thread that weave through business failures across various industries and scales. We will also explore the critical mistakes, the unforeseen circumstances, and the systematic weakness that can lead even the most promising ventures to collapse. So, friends, buckle up, open your minds, and let's learn together from the experiences, both good and bad, that shape the landscape of business. So, we live in culture that often glorifies the overnight success. We see the headlines about billion-dollar valuations and viral products, and it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that the success is linear and inevitable for those with the right ideas and enough hustle. However, this curated narrative often obscures the messy reality and the high percentage of the ventures that ultimately fail. Consider this static that a significant majority of the startup don't make it past their first few years. While the exact numbers vary depending on the source and the industry, the trend is clear. Failure is a much more common outcome than the extraordinary success stories we frequently hear about. Why is this the case? Well, for starters, the market is complex and ever-evolving landscape. What might seem like a brilliant idea today could be rendered obsolete tomorrow by technological advancements, shifting consumer preferences, or unforeseen economic downturn. Secondly, execution is paramount. A fantastic idea, poorly implemented, has a far greater chance of failing than a mediocre idea executed exceptionally well. Furthermore, the pressure to project an image of unwavering success can prevent entrepreneurs from openly discussing challenges or seeking help when things start to go wrong. This fear of appearing weak or admitting failures can increase the problem and ultimately contribute to a venture's demise. It is crucial to understand that failure is not necessarily the opposite of success. Often, it is the stepping stone, a valuable learning experience that can provide crucial insight for future endeavors. By making failure and examining its root cause, we can foster a more realistic and ultimately more resilient entrepreneurial ecosystem. So, what are some of the fundamental weaknesses that can undermine a business from its very foundation? While each failure has its own unique story, certain themes consistently emerges. Let us explore some of those most common underlying causes. Let's start with lack of viable business model. At its core, a business needs a sustainable way to generate revenue and profit. This might seem obvious, but many failures stem from a flawed or a poorly understood business model. Perhaps the cost of customer acquisition is too high, the pricing strategy is unsustainable, or there isn't a large enough market for the product or services. Without a clear path to profitability, even the most innovative ideas will eventually run out of steam. Poor market research and understanding is the next point. Jumping into ventures without thoroughly understanding the target market is a recipe for disaster. Who are your potential customers? What are their needs and pain points? What are their existing alternatives? And what is your competitive advantage? Failing to answer these fundamental questions can lead to developing a product or service that nobody wants or willing to pay for. Inadequate funding, cash flow management is the next point. Running out of money is a leading cause of business failure, especially for startups. This can happen due to underestimating initial capital requirements, unexpected expenses, or poor management of cash flows. Even profitability business can face crisis if they don't have enough liquid assets to cover short-term obligations. Weak leadership and management is also one of the key items that we need to discuss. A strong and capable leadership team is essential for navigating the inevitable challenges of building a business. Poor leadership can manifest in various ways, including a lack of vision, poor decision making, ineffective communication, and inability to attract and retain talent. Moving on to the next potential cause of failing business is the product market mismatch. Developing a technical brilliant product or services is only half the battle. The other crucial half is finding the market that actually need and want what you have created. A product market mismatch occurs when there is no demand for your offerings, no matter how innovative it might be. Next, cause for failure is a over expansion and premature scaling. Success can sometimes be its own undoing. Reading high or early traction, some businesses make the mistake of scaling too quickly before solidifying their core operations and ensuring a sustainable business model. This can lead to overstretching resources, quality control issues, and ultimately a collapse. While external factors and market forces play a role in business failure, the human element is often significant contributing factor. The decision biases and interpersonal dynamics within the company can have profound consequences. And therefore, let's examine some common human-related pitfalls. Number one is ego and overconfidence. A certain level of self-belief is necessary for any entrepreneur, but unchecked ego and overconfidence can blind leaders to potential problems and that lead to risky decisions. Ignoring dissenting opinions or believing one's own intuition is always right can be a fatal flaw. Number two is poor communication and team dynamics. So effective communication is the lifeblood of any successful organization. Breakdown in communication can lead to misunderstanding, missed opportunities, and internal conflicts that can cripple productivity and morale. Similarly, dysfunctional team dynamics and a lack of trust can create toxic environment and hinder progress. Number three is the resistance to change and innovation. The business world is constantly evolving. Companies that make complacent and resistant to adopting new technologies, market trend, or customer preferences risk becoming irrelevant and eventually failing. A willingness to embrace change and foster a culture of innovation is crucial for long-term survival. Number 4 is the ignoring warning signs. Often the sign of impending trouble are there, but they are either missed or ignored or rationalized always. Declining sales, increasing customer churn, negative feedback, these are all potential red flags that can be addressed proactively. Delaying action or burying one's head in the sand can turn a manageable problem into an insurmountable crisis. Number 5 is ethical lapse and misconduct. Some cases, businesses' failures are directly attributable to unethical behavior, fraud, or illegal activities. While these are thankfully not the norm, they serve as a stark reminder of importance of integrity and ethical leadership. Number 6 is complacency after initial success. So early success can sometimes breed complacency. Leaders and team can or may become less vigilant, less innovative, and less focused on fundamentals that led to their initial win. This can create an opening for competitors and lead to a gradual decline. So we have explored some of the key components of the anatomy of a business failure. But the crucial question remains, how can we use this understanding to improve our own ventures and avoid similar mistakes? The first step is to cultivate a culture of learning. This means being willing to honestly assess failures, both our own and those of others, without assigning blame or dwelling on negativity. Instead, the focus should be on identifying the root causes and extracting actionable insights. Secondly, it is vital to embrace a growth mindset. Viewing setback as learning opportunities rather than definitive defeat can foster resilience and encourage experimentation.